So my safety restraint system light is on the dash and also indicating the passenger airbag light is off. Unfortunately, since I tried the factory reset and it came back on, this will likely be a requirement to replace the safety seating occupancy sensors in the passenger seat. This is what they look like. There are two. Wiring harness, and they both bolt in. Let's get started. Next step is we're going to recline the rear passenger so it clears, and when I fold it sideways it'll go out the back door. Then we're going to raise as high as it can go the rear and front. And again, I need to readjust the rear reclining. And that's the position you want to remove the seat. You want to raise this so you have access to remove those sensors. The next step is we're going to disconnect the battery now that we have the seat in the position we need to remove. All right, first step is we're going to move the seat all the way up. Work our way to the back. Pop these off. And you'll have four 14mm bolts that hold the seat tracking in place. Like so. Remove the other three. Remove both sides. Now move the seat all the way back. Once the rear two bolts are out, once again exposing the two 14mm bolts in the front. The front left, I guess we can call it a rail guide, is a little bit smaller than the others. $10mm. Now with the battery disconnected, we have to disconnect the seat wiring harness, which comes up through the floor right here and connects in various places underneath the seat. The first step is to disconnect these tabs from the seat. Like so. Both tabs are out. Next is to disconnect all these wiring harnesses. First one is this guy, and unfortunately, in typical Nissan fashion, they're all different. Second one, this guy. The third one, this guy, which third are the same, like so. Big one here, also a tab here. You can see this, there's a tab right here that has to be depressed. And on these two, the tab is right here that has to be depressed. And then the last one, the yellow one, has a slide tab that you slide up. and then it comes apart. And then I have one more right here. And then your harness is completely removed from your seat. All right, now you'll see why I raised the seat and reclined it. Now that all 4 mounting bolts are out and the wiring harness is disconnected, we're going to rotate the seat like so. And then slowly remove it from the car. Okay, now that I got the seat out, I've got it laid on some cardboard just to protect the leather upholstery. And I'm going to show you the rails, which are right here, which if you recall earlier, front bolts, rear bolts to remove it from the car. And if you remember, I said to make sure that you raise the seat as high as it'll go. The reason for that is there are 2 sensors. Here's the first one, and here's the second one. There would be no way to get in here if the seat's in its lowest position, but now in its upright position, you can access the 2 bolts, which you can see are right here and here. And then on the top one, here and here. Now for the top one, you'll notice there's a plastic guard that you need to remove. It just snaps off. There's a clip right here. Be careful not to break it. This comes right off. And then you'll have access to the bolts underneath right there. These are 12mm bolts. I'm going to use a 1/2-inch drive because the sockets are a little bit longer. Shorter than a deep well, but longer than standard, which is pretty much what you need to get in here. And I'll show you. So what I do is I slide the handle through to the outside like so. And then you can see right there, my socket is right on the bolt. And there's my handle for easy cranking. All 4 exactly the same. For the top 2, you can actually access it with the ratchet handle on the inside of the seat. And you can see right in there is the socket on the bolt. And then similarly for the top one, that's it. Once they're broken loose, you can loosen them by hand. And then we're going to remove the 2 electrical harnesses, one for the rear, one for the front, and replace our sensors. Once you have the 4 12mm nuts removed from these sensors, you'll simply pull up on the rail like so. And be careful because you're going to remove from here this piece right here, which you'll have to slide on to make sure it fits, putting it back. Here's the sensors now exposed. And the final step to remove is right here. There is a 14mm nut holding it in place. Again, I'm going to use my ratchet on the inside. That one's loose. That one's loose. Now I've got my sensors loose. All right, once the nut's removed, you can slide off the sensor. Yeah, definitely red thread lock on there, so I'll clean that off and replace. Here's your little wiring harness. There's a little tab right here that you can depress. And it slides off, and there's your sensor. All right, here's the new sensor. I don't know why I said I was gonna clean it off and apply, because those old sensors are going in the trash. But here's the new sensor. I've got some red gel thread lock right here. I'm just going to apply to the threads. I'm going to try this one-handed. There it is in place. Put your 14mm nut in the center. We'll reapply our rail. 2 12mm nuts up from the bottom, and rehook the wiring harness and put the seat back together. One recommendation I have is when installing the sensor, go ahead and put in the 14mm nut, snug with your hand. If you snug it with a ratchet, the actual sensor starts to rotate and there's no way to hold it in place. So once you put your rail in, like so, now you can tighten it up, because the two studs in the rail, right there and there, will hold the sensor in place while you torque it down. Okay, once that's all torqued down, don't forget your plastics support bracket here. Snaps into place like so. And now the seat is ready to go back in the car. All right, for those of you that have ever installed a trans on an engine, there are those little nipples in the bell housing that line up. Same thing here. So when you're putting your seat back, make sure you line up that nipple, which comes off the rail, with that hole in your frame. And then all 4 holes will line up to bolt them back in. All right, once you have the pin aligned, keep your seat on an incline, and we're gonna reattach the wiring harness. First one, this guy. Oh God. All right, here we go. Number 2, 3. Make sure you listen for the clicks. 4 and 5. And then your securing tabs. We've got 4 of them. Here's the first one. Second one. Third one's way back in the middle. And the 4th one's up front. Once everything is installed, this is how it should look. All right, assuming the pin is lined up in the back, when we drop the seat, everything should line up, which it does. And we'll take our 14mm bolts. Then torque it down. And proceed to the back. Okay, in order to get the rear bolts, we're gonna have to move the seat up. In order to move the seat up, we'll have to reconnect the battery. Remember, this is a 10mm bolt. All right. Bring the seat back up. Move the seat forward. back down also. Check all my motors. Actuators seem to be working well and sound good. Moving to the back, we now have our bolt holes aligned, and we can proceed bolting the back. When you're done, don't forget to replace your plastic rail guards. They simply slide back over and snap into place. All right, once you're done and your passenger seat is back in place, you have to do what's called a factory 0-point reset. I've got a Foxwell AutoMaster Pro here, and you just need to go into your car. Once it finds your car, either automatically finding the VIN or you manually enter it, you want to go into the control module and then airbag. Your settings may be different. It might say SRS or something to that effect. And then you're going to go to clear codes. It's going to ask if the ignition is on, but the engine is not running, which it is in my case. And then I'm going to confirm and confirm. And there you go. And now I started the car. No more SRS light. No more light right there. Problem solved.